Our topic is, by working the steps, we are building our fractured personalities. Please remember that what is shared is one addict's experience, strength, and hope, and not the opinion of Narcotics Anonymous as a whole. Our first speaker will be Steve S. Come on up, Steve.
I'm Steve. I'm an addict. It's funny, when Felicia asked me to speak, she gave me a different topic, and then she changed it on me. And first, I didn't understand why. But as I got into it a little bit more, I did understand why. And that's what I love about Narcotics Anonymous is this basic text was written by addicts for addicts, and this book's about me. And there's a lot of this that applies to my life. By working the steps, we are rebuilding our fractured personalities. Narcotics Anonymous is a healthy environment for growth. As a fellowship, we love and cherish one another, supporting our new way of life together. Definition of fracture is the cracking or breaking of a hard object. And when I thought about that, I thought about a drug addict's mind. That's a hard object. My head's hard, and I can relate to that. Now, part of my story is that I've hung out for a while, and I had to go change my date because I forgot where I came from. And that's what I love about this. This is out of More Will Be Revealed, chapter 10. I'm going to go into the other stuff here. Sometimes we find ourselves caught up in old ideas, even with time in the program. The basics are always important to recovery. We need to avoid old thinking patterns, both old ideas and tendency towards complacency. We cannot afford to become complacent because our disease is with us 24 hours a day. If while practicing these principles we allow ourselves to feel superior or inferior, we isolate ourselves. We are headed for trouble. If we feel apart from other addicts, separation from the atmosphere of recovery and from the spirit of service to others slows our spiritual growth. Complacency keeps us from goodwill, love, and compassion. So they said complacency like 3 times there. And complacency is, for me, it's that false pride. And the way that it applied in my story was that I stuck around, I got a little bit of time, and my ego got the best of me, and I knew the words, and I became unteachable. And so through that process of becoming unteachable, I started isolating myself because I quit going to meetings, I quit reaching out to other addicts, I quit working with other addicts, and it was me, myself, and I, and that's not good company for me. So then we go a little bit further into it. If we are not willing to listen to others, we will deny the need for improvement. We learn to become flexible to admit when others are right and we are wrong. As new things are revealed, we feel renewed. We stay open-minded and willing to do that one extra thing. Go to one extra meeting. Stay on the phone one extra minute. Help a newcomer stay clean one extra day. This extra effort is vital to our recovery. So it's saying that it's vital, which vital means that it's needed for me to keep going to meetings, keep working with others, keep in contact with my sponsor, all those basic things that I learned when I first came into recovery. It's vital. That it's life or death for me now. And I messed with this thing for a long time. I was introduced to the program when I was 17 years old. And the way that I ended up coming to the meeting was there was another guy that's still running around here too, and we were youngsters, and he had told me, well, let's go get some free food, and that's how I ended up at my first NA meeting. And I didn't know that the seed was going to be implanted and it was going to change my using for the rest of my life. So now I'm 45, and I'm a little bit older, and I'm a little bit wiser, but it's due to this program. So we're gonna, and with by doing that extra stuff, it changes my life, and it makes me feel better about me, and it puts my disease at ease. Just for one more day, you know. We come to know ourselves for the first time. We experience new situations, to love, to be loved, to know that people care about us, and to have concern or compassion for others. We find ourselves doing and enjoying things that we never thought we would be doing. We make mistakes, and we accept and learn from them. We experience failure, and we learn how to succeed. Often we have to face some type of crisis during our recovery, such as death of a loved one, financial difficulties, or divorce. These are realities of life. They do not always go away, or they don't go away just because we got clean. Some of us, even after years of recovery, found ourselves jobless, homeless, and penniless. We entertained the thought of staying clean was not paying off. And our old thinking stirred up self-pity, resentment, anger. No matter how painful life's tragedies can be for us, one thing is clear: we must not use no matter what. And when I read that, there's a guy that runs around at our group, and he's been around for a while, and he always shares about that he knows that stuff happens in life, and he watches a lot of people go out, and I've been one of them. And he just looks at me and he tells me, just stay, you know. And no matter what the circumstance is, I don't have to put dope on it today. And the reason being is because this program's giving me tools to apply, to use, to where I can get through all that stuff. But it's all about doing that extra meeting and staying on the phone an extra minute, or helping an addict stay clean for an extra day. You know, those are the tools that help me. And I know that. Now, this is what's crazy about this. When Felicia changed the topic on me, part of my story is that I got some time, and I've had several back surgeries. And so this next part falls right into that. And what I'm going to say out loud to everybody is that before I even start reading that part of it is that you know, the lifestyle we lived, or I lived, I'm going to keep it about me today. The lifestyle I lived, I put my body through torture and torment. And the honest truth is when I came into the program, I put some wear and tear on my body. And there's a pamphlet out there right now that I was introduced to when I came back from relapse by my sponsor. And I've got to stay honest today. My sponsor's sitting over there. And it's called A Time of Illness. And what frustrates me is that this pamphlet is awesome material that's not being utilized enough in our rooms. It's more expensive than the regular other pamphlets that we have, but it's got a lot of good information in there for people who are going to the dentist, or who are going through mental issues, or who are going through surgeries. And if you're doing or going through any of that, I recommend that you read this pamphlet. And if you can't find one, call me and I'll get you one, because it's part of my story now. And you know, when I was going through that whole process of going through the surgeries, when I first started the first few surgeries, I did stay in contact with my sponsor. And I remember him telling me, Steve, you need to stay on top of your addict. And the first couple of times I did stay on top of my addict. And I was staying in touch with people who were in recovery. About the third, fourth surgery, you know, I became a professional, and I knew what I was doing. And I didn't need to call and tell people what I was feeling, and I didn't stay on top of my addict. And through that process of not staying on top of my addict, my mind started telling me that, you know what, one more, or go ahead. If 2 makes you feel good, just imagine how 4 makes you feel good. And the next thing I know, I was full blown, and I didn't stay on top of my addict. And this is what I love about More Will Be Revealed in this deal. It talks about this is a program of total abstinence from all drugs, you know, and it gives a lot of direction through here. And if I remove myself and my self-centeredness and my selfishness and my ego, and I look for the directions, which I had my sponsor sat down and showed me there was directions in this book. And I'm grateful for that today, because this is a book of direction. And I'm going to go into the next part. This is a program of total abstinence. There are times, however, in cases of health problems involving surgery and extreme physical injury, that medication may be valid. This does not constitution a license to use. See, that's where I messed up, because it was given to me by the doctor, you know, and he's got to know how much pain I was in. And you know what, my dope fiend gets real good with them doctors. And that line in our book where it talks about little old ladies, I'm a little old lady, and I own that today. And you know what, since I've been clean, and my clean date, and I own this date, it's my date, nobody can take it away from me except for me, is 6/22/12. So that's a year and 9 months about. But it's been the best year and 9 months of my life, because my life's changed. You know, I had a bunch of years together, but I wasn't applying any spiritual principles. So really, I was just a dope fiend without dope, and I was miserable. And this time, I truly believe that through this process, that when I did my first, it was a thorough. And my sponsors know me for a while, and he said, I think you did a thorough. You know, and I've known him for a long time, you know. And when I did the second step, I knew that there was a better way of life. I was watching people change all the way around me. And when I did my third step, and I'm going to say this without if I start crying, I'm sorry, because I get excited about this shit, and I know my life's changed. But when I did my third, I knew that it was a God of my own understanding. And I replaced that mean and hateful and punishing God for a loving and caring and understanding higher power that I found in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. And I've been in search of that for all my life. So I know this thing works, you know. I know that my life has changed tremendously, because I've kind of moved out of the way a little bit, you know. One of the things that I do with my sponsor, and I've done it from day one since this last hoo-ha, is I call him and I tell him shit out loud, because I got a dopey mind that lies to me and tries to convince me that I'm better than you or I'm less than you, you know. And I battle with that, because I can be talking to one person and going, man, that dude's sick. And you know what, I'm better than him, and look at me. And then I can turn around and talk to another person and feel like I'm not worthy, and I'm about that big, and it switches up, and that's part of my disease. And by me calling my sponsor, and he's got it down, because I'll call him, I go, I got to say this shit out loud, and you know what? It takes power away from when I say it out loud. Because when I keep that shit in my head, and I run with it, All right, let's go into this. There are no safe use of drugs for us. Our bodies don't know the difference between drugs prescribed by physician for pain or drugs prescribed by ourselves to get high as addicts. So my body don't know if the dope man gave it to me or if the doctor gave it to me. And I know what my choice of drug is, and I don't have to tell all y'all, but I know that I can talk to my doctor, and you know what? He can prescribe that shit that I used to score off the streets. And my mind and my body don't know the difference. This is why I can tell you this time, this last go around and coming back and getting clean this time was harder than it's ever been. And I'm not talking, well, mentally it whooped my ass, spiritually it whooped my ass, but physically it really kicked my ass. And there's still parts of me that might not ever recover, but I know that my mind couldn't tell the difference. But part of my story is I have two other brothers that they qualify, and they've announced themselves as addicts, and I went and saw one of them that was in the hospital, and he'd been on a 2-year run, and his body's shutting down, and he's got cirrhosis of the liver and Hep C and all that stuff. And the doctor that was talking to my mom said, when we're younger, we bounce back, and when we get older and we try to do this stuff, we just splat up against the wall. And that's the way my body was. You know what? I'm not a youngster anymore. I can't run hard like I used to and just bounce right back. And it terrified me, because this last go around, when and I got to admit that when I quit, it wasn't because I just was ready to surrender. My wife has been clean for a while, and a lot of people know her, but she found my stash, and I'm getting honest because I have to stay honest, and she found my stash, and we met each other in recovery. Everything good in my life has come from recovery. I met my wife in recovery. I've got beautiful kids that are due to my recovery and my wife's recovery. And then I got my boys that are in recovery. So everything good in my life has come from recovery. And she found my stuff, and so she was telling me I need to go to rehab, and I was like, I ain't going to rehab. And she's like, well, you know what? It's either the drugs or us, and I had lost my power of choice. And I remember that night, because used to when I was younger, man, you need to get off the dope. Okay, I'll get off dope. And then I lost that choice, man, because I was willing to sacrifice everything that I love and care for, because the dope had me, and I lost my choice. And that is our one promise, is a promise from freedom from active addiction. I lost my choice, and I even remember calling my sponsor and crying and apologizing because I couldn't stop. And I didn't know if I was going to make it back. So I laid low that night, not because I wanted to, but my stuff was confiscated. And caught me off guard, and I didn't have a second plan. But the truth is I had a little bit of time, and then that morning woke up, and Dope Fiend woke up and said, you know what, you better go to the bank before she closes the account. And so I jumped in the car, and I headed to the bank because I knew that the bank account was fixing to be changed. And I got me some money, and I was going to do it big, because that's what we do. And so I'm driving behind the house, and I was about to call the dope man, which she already called before because she found that number. I don't know how she did that. You're amazing. But for some reason, I called my sponsor instead. And I told him that I'm coming, and that's the beautiful thing about the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is that there was no hesitation there. There wasn't you know what, I'm really busy and I you can't come to my house. And him and his wife met me at the step and loved me, and I picked up my white tag there, and they helped me get my choice back. So I came in at 17, and I've changed my date a lot of times, and this is what's messed up is I love this program so much. Even when I was out there, I'd be telling people how badass this program is. The seed's implanted and it grows, but I know that I can't live without this program. This program isn't going to shut down because I quit coming around. But I know that I can't keep on coming around unless this program's around. I was raised up around a bunch of hardcore, old school NA people. And a lot of women tell me to sit down and shut up. And a lot of people teaching me what my needs and wants truly were. Because, I've got a disease that tells me I'm entitled to everything. And I'm grateful for all those people that were there before me. And a lot of them are still here. This is another thing I want to share about. Physicians should have specific knowledge of our addiction. Remember that we, not our doctors, are ultimately responsible for our recovery and our decisions. So that goes back and tells me that, I still have a choice. There are other options, and what's funny is that I'm doing a lot of those other options that were offered to me back in the day when I first started doing those surgeries. And if you would have told me 4 or 5 years ago, well, you ought to try this, I would tell you, well, that ain't going to work for me. That's, I'm different. I'm unique. And that's another part of my disease is it tells me that I'm different. But it goes on to explain that to minimize the danger, there are a few specific options that we may consider. Using local anesthesia. Avoiding our drug of choice. Well, that's where I screwed up. Stopping drugs while we are still hurting. This is what kills me. Spending extra days in the hospital in case withdrawal occurs. So it's telling me right there, there's directions all the way through there. And you know what? I went through a bunch of different surgeries, and I don't think I applied very many of those. I've got a disease that tells me that more is good. And what's crazy about this paragraph, and it says it's all right there. Whatever pain we experience will pass. Through prayer, meditation, and sharing, We keep our minds off of discomfort and have the strength to keep our priorities in order. So if I pray about it and I do a little bit of meditation and I call and tell you, hey, this is what I'm thinking, I can get through any kind of pain. What's funny is I don't remember how much I was using exactly there at the tail end, but I know that I've been clean since 6/22/12, and I haven't had to, I've had pain, but you know what, I can tolerate it today, and I do hurt, and I know it hurts, but I've tapped into a source greater than me that's helping me get through this too, and part of the therapeutic value is what's saving my ass too, because I am able to go, you know what, I'm hurting. Because my dope fiend, and it talks about this on up here, turning to our higher power. Okay, there's one part where it'll say that my disease will turn on me and become my worst enemy because, and this is where my sponsor talked about, stay on top of that dope fiend, was that my disease will sit and tell me and convince me that I'm hurting more, so I'll do more, And I don't know if y'all remember how pill bottles used to say as needed on it. That don't apply to me. As needed is not good for me, How much time I got left, Danny? You said that I could do 15 minutes and you do an hour. Okay. 10 minutes. Wow, that went well. We need to feel no guilt after having taken a minimum amount of medication prescribed by an informed professional for extreme physical pain. That's the key right there. It said the key word to that whole sentence right there was minimal. You just take as much as you need. You just follow the prescription, we grow through pain and recovery and often find such crisis is a gift, an opportunity to experience growth by living clean. Before recovery, we were unable to even conceive of the thought of that the problem brought on were gifts. This gift may be finding the strength within ourselves or regaining a feeling of self-respect that we have lost. So that's telling me that whatever pain that I walk through in recovery is a gift. The way it was explained to me a while back, and I heard the guy, but I wasn't listening. He said that when you get into pain, he said, pray to get through the pain, but also pray for the lesson to be revealed. So what he was basically saying is keep on praying and remain teachable. Because normally when I can get to the other side of it, because I you know what, I get in the middle of stuff and, I kid about this, but when I first came in here, I had no self-esteem, and now I'm up to low self-esteem, and it's getting a little bit better. And I've learned that I'm not a bad person. I'm just a person with bad behaviors, which can be corrected. And I'm learning that if I get out of the way and I quit being so selfish and self-centered, that good things happen. But also I've learned that my character defects, I'm still selfish and I'm still self-centered, but I'm not as selfish and I'm not as self-centered. And I remember a guy sharing that at a meeting a long time ago, and I was like, dude, you got how much time? You should be over that shit. And the truth is that, you know what, I chip away, and I get a little bit better each day. But I got to stay honest, and I got to stay willing, and I got to stay open-minded in order to do that. But it goes all back to the basics. The structure of the program is go to meetings, call your sponsor, work with others, and stay willing. And that's about it. Spiritual growth, I didn't become addicted in one day, so remember, easy does it. But that do it part, I got to do it. This is what I'm going to close with. Another book written by addicts for addicts that's awesome. This is on page 254. Love. The spirit of love that we express in NA is the most powerful thing that we have. The basic text describes it as the flow of energy from one person to another. And we see this in the action. We watch an addict come back to life in the rooms. The hugs we give are an instrumental part of our method and our experience. NA is all about love. So this is something, I get goosebumps thinking about this shit. But who would have thunk a bunch of addicts helping other addicts would end up like this? Who thought that my life would change like that because somebody hugged me and told me that I was worthy of life today? So that's what I'm grateful for. This program has changed my life tremendously, but it's all those guys that told me to keep coming back. Don't quit before the miracle happens. All that shit that I thought I was too cool for, because I remember them saying that, and I was like, man, that's corny. But you know what? I'm one of those older guys now, and I see how it changes my life, So keep on working with a newcomer, and keep open-minded, and keep calling your sponsor, and keep going to meetings, and just give that extra minute, that extra phone call, and it changed me, and it keeps on changing me. I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to share here today. Thanks.
Good job, Steve. Okay. Okay. Our second speaker is going to be Danny S. from Tyler, Texas. Come on, Danny!
My name's Danny, I'm an addict. And I'm real grateful to be here. And I'm real grateful to be a member of Narcotics Anonymous. And if you are new, just keep coming back, man. Sometime last past year, Felicia reminded me when I say that I have something in that. Because the reality of it is, I really just know that I am real grateful to be a member of Narcotics Anonymous. And this process took a long time for me. So like, as I share, don't get it twisted like I'm all that. And I'm not saying that for y'all, I'm saying that for me. Like, my ass is still an addict, and I'm subject to cuss you out at any time. So don't get it twisted like I've reached a point in my life that like I'm better than you. You know, I enjoyed this way of life, and this life was introduced to me by my topic is, before I get started, should I say before God gets started? Not me, God. That God. Fear is a natural feeling. The question is what we do with it. So, man, if you knew, just keep coming, man. I'm going to share, I didn't know what fear was. I was raised in a place where, I was raised by a parent, and she taught me not to be afraid of anything. The first time I faced fear, for real, was when my father jumped on her, and I was going to intervene with a butcher knife. So, I didn't have no fear because I was going to stick him. You know, and from that point on, the only other time I ran into fear as growing up is in the first grade, and it was this kid was picking on me, and my cousin intervened. She was a tomboy, and I ran home, and my mama said, I'm just telling y'all about me because I'm afraid. I ran home and told her, and what she told me is, don't you ever run again. And you better go back and handle that. And she was a very religious woman, and I was a little kid, and I had this, I don't know about, but I had this little briefcase satchel kind of thing, Steve. You know, and I went back the next day with my satchel, and I beat that boy down. And I wasn't afraid no more. You know, and when I got in high school, I had a real high voice, and so you would kick in calling me a punk because my voice was real high, and it was, you know, when you change, I don't know about it, but I had that change in voice thing. So the fear you thinking that I was, you know what I'm saying, I would fight you. You know, and the longer my life, it's fearful being intimate with people. You know what I'm saying? When you got a whole bunch of eyes looking at you and seeing it, that's some scary stuff, you know, and I never know that was going to be like this for me. So to get further on down, fear is a natural feeling. I didn't know what it was to be afraid of anything. Even when I lost my arm, it wasn't about me wilding and crying and being afraid of picking up a gun again. It was about, let's get right back in here and let's do this deal. Because I'm not hurt, and I'm not going to let you know that I'm hurt. I ain't going to let you know that I feel. I'm not going to let you know nothing about it. I'm just going to stand up and act as if I'm a bad son of a gun. I'm not afraid. I will fight you with this nub and all. Come on with it. That was the attitude that I had. Because it wasn't a natural feeling for me to feel afraid. And that's what I done with it. I internalized it, or I took it out on you. Or I felt better than you, and I would challenge you or say something to you so I could prove to you how bad I really was, instead of letting you know that I was afraid. That's what I did with it. So going to the penitentiary, I wasn't afraid. I'd fight anybody and anything. But then I get to Narcotics Anonymous, and the first time I really get an opportunity to feel fear after being clean for a minute, it's they asked me, are you an addict? I don't want to be no addict. And I'm not going to let you know I'm an addict. Because I was like most of us closed-minded people. I thought that an addict, which I had been that, lived under bridges, and I'd done that, but I was still better than. So I wouldn't let you know until this little one-legged guy said, come on in, the meeting start, and sit down. And there I started learning, didn't even learn, just started looking. You know, and my home group is the New Beginnings group in Tyler, Texas, 315 West Front Street. We have meetings 7 days a week, 3 times a day. Come on down. We'll help you find a parking spot. My clean date is November 1st of 1996. And when I got here, I didn't know I was going to be here. I didn't know it was going to last as long as it was going to last, man. So the fear starts after you get in the rooms. Is asking somebody to be your sponsor. And I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about me. So don't get it twisted. Like I had a lot of fears that I didn't want to share with nobody, because I came in with that convict mentality. Like, I'm not going to let you know nothing about me, but like, them things on the wall you say going to help me, so you need to show me. Because, like, I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of information. You know, like that 4-step thing that you got, like, give a more, I ain't finna do all that. But, like, I can share with you, I probably have had a spiritual awakening without the results of working in the steps. I just know I can't use dope no more. I'm just saying about me. You know, so, like, I got to go ask another man to guide me. And it wasn't guide when I first got here. It was like, I'm going to get another grown man to tell me how to live my life, and he's going to try to punk me, because you know he's going to try to, you know. So there's fear, because I'm not listening. I'm just hearing what I want to hear, because I suffer from the disease of addiction that's got a lot of fear running around in my head, telling me all kinds of information. Because I want to discredit everything that I see and everybody do. I really do. And that's fear. Like, so now I got to be open-minded. Like, I got to listen to Steve. Not just hear him. I got to listen to what he's saying. I got to listen to his experience. And my disease will tell me, that is bullcorn, Danny. That ain't even the deal. This is the way it goes. So I'll discredit him because of the fear of, like, I got to stop. It'll take me all the way in the future and say, you know what, someday you're going to have to tell them that, about that dark secret. So you need to, like, just take your time with the step process. I don't recommend anybody do this. I'm just sharing me. And the process took 7 years for me to work all 12 steps the first time around, man. And I suffered every minute of that. The longer I waited in the steps and didn't do them, the more pain came into my life because of the fear that was inside of me to allow somebody to know what was going on inside of me. Because I still thought I had enough sense to, like, stay clean by myself. Fear drove me, man. But, like, also with that fear is like the fear of going back to the penitentiary. So, like, there was a fear of going back to the penitentiary, or the fear of, like, letting you in my life. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit. I ain't going to give you a whole lot, because I don't want to go back to the penitentiary. And, like, I keep coming back. I ain't got this much time because fear is good for me today. I keep coming back, and I change sponsors because I find out that in the process, like, the literature is there for a reason. So the fear of finding out, of leaving one sponsor and asking for another one, because I think in my disease, even after being in a relationship with a sponsor for 8 years, like, we are married, and if I say something to you, like, you're going to hate me for the rest of my life. So I'm afraid of letting you know it's time for me to move on because I want something else. And when I say it to you, you subject to, like, act a fool, and in this situation, that's what happened. But it was okay because over a period of time, I found out what I could do better. So, like, asking my second sponsor to sponsor me was all about me learning about the literature. And that's a fearful thing because, see, like, when you start reading the literature and, like, applying it, it's some stuff you got to do within you to, like, apply that to yourself so you don't be afraid no more. Like telling somebody what your morals and values are. And, like, standing up for that. Because I didn't have any. So I used to say yes when I meant to say no, because I was afraid if I said no to you, you wasn't going to like me no more. You wasn't going to be my friend. And with my caretaking behind, I always wanted somebody to be my friend. So I would take you places and do things with you with an expectation that you wouldn't tell me no someday. And guess what? You always told me no. And then I would hold a resentment deep down inside, and when I would see you, instead of just letting you know how I felt, I would ignore you for the fear if I... You know, man, I'm trying not to let y'all know everything about me. So as I continue this journey and I start reading the literature and I start applying it to my life, there are some things I have to change. And like, so now at the third step, because it talks about it in this part in here, like I have to work, like I have to really start turning my will and my life over. Like I really got to stop being afraid, because the same higher power that got me to the rooms is the same higher power that is with me today. And like when I want something, I have to take some action. And like I can get paralyzed because I will think that like, am I taking the right action? So like y'all tell me in the literature, I don't have to know how this program works. All I got to do is follow directions. So I'm coming to the meetings and I'm getting with sponsor and I'm working steps and then the direction starts. But the cold part, I got to get honest. I have to get honest. Like I can't tell sponsor half of the story or tell sponsor what they are doing. I have to tell sponsor what I'm thinking and feeling and what I am doing. And guess what? Fear jumps in and makes me not tell him the whole story, so he can only solve half of the problem with no solution. So then I catch a resentment with sponsor because I didn't tell sponsor the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So I will say the program doesn't work. Crazy as all I do is. So now I'm learning through the process of working the steps what to do with it. So like going into my 18th year clean. How long am I supposed to speak? So now I got to turn my will and my life over to God. They said you can call it the group, you can call it the program, or you can call it God. So like when I got here, I didn't believe in no God. So like I believed in y'all. So like, and my home group is like a lot of clean time. You know, when I first got there was a whole bunch of clean time there, man. It was like a lot of people there with some digits, you know, and like they had stuff. And like my first sponsor was like, you know what, you know, like you got to keep coming back. Like, and I don't know if I'm making sense to y'all, because sometimes something comes over me and I don't know what it is, and it makes me like, get out of me. So like I turn my will and my life over, you know? And that's a scary place, because like y'all told me that the same person that got me here is the person that's going to keep me here. And like I keep coming to the meetings and I keep getting with sponsor, and then I find a God, a higher power. I don't mean to offend anybody, because I know some of us trip. Like it's not a religious program, it's spiritual. So like I get to this place where I have to start trusting him even more. So that means I have to trust this man that I've allowed, that I've humbled myself to like put in my life. And that's scary, because I'm still thinking that he's like wanting something from me. I'm still thinking he's wanting something from me, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, in my home group, there was a lot of people with clean time, and they've left. Like they went to other fellowships. So like, I need to share, because I got a lot of my home group members up in here, man, and like I share with them all the time, like exactly where I'm at. Because the disease of addiction will tell me I don't need to let you know that I'm still thrown off. Like it'll tell me I don't need to let you know that I will still bust a cap on you. Like I think that way, and I have to like call sponsor and say, check this out. This is where I'm at right now. Because like when I'm in fear, Steve, I will act out in a behavior that has nothing to do with dope. I got a closet full of tennis shoes. Based on the fear that I took myself to a place back in the day when I didn't have any tennis shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like I got tennis shoes all out in the garage that I don't even wear. Yeah, I got starched jeans based on the information that I was nasty when I was out there. So I have this old behavior of carrying starched jeans, bathing, cologne, fear of running out. I am so afraid that I will act out in the behavior, man. Like I work like a dog and I save money, you know, and I just, ooh, we're finna talk about that, okay. Like I'm a workaholic, man. Like I'm one of them workaholic people that like believe like I need to get somewhere. So I just spent a lot of money on just remodeling my home, you know. Thank you, God. And like soon as I wrote the check for the money, the fear jumped on me. It's like, oh, your ass broke now, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got no backup now. And it was like, you know, the cold part about it is like, as a result. See, when I don't have a relationship with my higher power, I get into fear so quick. And I'll act out on the behavior so quick that you don't even know that I'm using. And it ain't got nothing to do with dope. I will use my job. I will manipulate to try to get overtime. I will manipulate customers because I have my own business. You don't know what the extremes of the fear I will go through because my little behind don't think that I got enough money in my bank account to cover me to pay my bills. I'm talking about me, y'all. It started out with the tennis shoes. It started out with the star jeans. I got cologne running out of my neck. I bathe twice or 3 times a day because I'm afraid I'm going to still stink because I have an inside fear that I still smell based on the information of how I used to live up on the bridges and not take a bath on a regular basis. Like now we're talking about I'm 17 years clean and I still run with that. You understand? I'm like deep fear. And until I get like down and be still and do some prayer and meditation, man, I am there. And that means for me, I have to like be still and like ask myself some serious questions, man. And the only way I'm able to do that is like do an inventory. And like I'm too lazy sometimes to want to do the damn inventory. Excuse me. So like I'm trapped. Because sponsor gives me the information and he gives me a solution. But I am so lazy and so paralyzed in fear, I don't want to put in the action to do the work is involved for me to get up out of it. Crazy. So I keep coming back and I want to sometimes like wallow in self-pity. Like don't nobody understand. Like it tells me in the literature, like the piece on self-will, like it's total isolation withdrawal. That means I have decided to take God out of the situation, curl up in a little ball, and say, oh, woe is me. Don't nobody love me. They don't understand. Come on, Doc. What you gonna do now, Danny? Danny, what you gonna do? Are you gonna just lay here? You've been around here for a minute. You better pick your little ass up, go to the meeting, share and get the feeling better. And God will take care of the rest. He really will. Because guess what? In spite of what this tells me, I'm not broke, y'all. And I'm not bragging about that. I'm talking about the disease of addiction that'll drive me to make me think and paralyze me with some fear that won't allow me to even look at, like, you get blessed every day to get up and go to work. How you broke, dog? All it requires is consistency and discipline. So that means The next 3 months, you don't buy no cologne, fool. Don't you go get another pair of tennis shoes. You got starch jeans that'll last you 4 months. Chill out. You're going to work anyway, so you don't need to try to impress nobody. So just keep coming back. But that would require that I take action. That's a hell of a word, ain't it? That means I can't be lazy. It means I have to be consistent. And like I shared this with a couple of my friends. Like I found out, like me and my sponsor was talking earlier, and like when we got together, it was like real cool because we had been knowing each other for a while, and like it was real cool. And I don't know if any of the old timers suffer with this. Like you get to a place in your life, like you think that you don't need to tell sponsor that you feel stupid sometimes with the question you was going about to ask him because you think you ought to know better by now. So you will stay paralyzed in that and not won't go say, check this out, sponsor. I am still struggling with intimacy. I am still struggling with like all that stuff that me and my sponsor talk about. That ain't none of y'all business. Like what? Thought y'all was gonna get some more, right? And like the freedom that comes from that is like cause the fear is like he's gonna judge me, like I ought to know better than, like how dare you like not know this kind of stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like I had to like free my man. It's about freeing myself and knowing somebody loves me. You know, and like that's for me that's some freedom, and like I get out of fear a little bit. I need to let you guys know that like this morning when I got here, like I was blessed to get up this morning. For a guy that didn't believe in God, I know I'm blessed. You know, like you, I didn't know. Man, I love you guys, man. So like I get out and come out in this thing, and it's like people like hugging on you and loving on you, and like you don't even know what you done to deserve this stuff that they give you, man. Like they just love on you, and it's like some days it's like overwhelming. I don't even know if y'all, man, like I don't know, I didn't do nothing to deserve this love, man. So like it be like woo-wee. So like I had to run back to my room, man, and like say, hold up, y'all, whoa. That's like a whole bunch of love. I don't know if y'all have experienced, like my home group is like we love on each other, but like when you get a whole bunch of addicts like loving on you and shit and just pulling you and you, fear jumped in and like I ain't done nothing to deserve this. I want to run. Like how a dopamine like me get all this love and ooh-wee. Do y'all know what I'm talking? So like when I'm hugging on you, I ain't trying to, I'm just letting you know I know too. Like I know you're afraid, newcomer. Like I know that like when you acting out and you got them dark shades on, that you hiding from the person because you don't want nobody to see your eyes, because I done it too. Like I know you would rather get into a relationship and then look at yourself because there's a lot of fear in that. So sex seems like a good idea until you find out they as crazy as you are. And then you get too afraid to let them go, so you just kind of gracefully back out on one of y'all to go get high to get out of it. So it's like you got to keep coming, man. So like, yeah, it's hard to let somebody love on you because it's like, oh, what do you want? And it's hard to love when you don't know how to love because you don't know who you are yet. So you got to love yourself first, and in the process, Danny, you'll learn how to have empathy and compassion for other people because you know what it takes to even walk up in here and like share and like tell the truth about yourself, even though when you have fear of being inadequate and low self-esteem and low self-worth, because the disease is always going to tell you, you still didn't do a damn good job. You know that was foul. You sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like it will never give me credit. So it won't, y'all don't know. Like my sponsor can tell me you love me. Y'all tell me y'all love me. As soon as all the love went all over me, the disease said, That was bullcorn, dog. They don't love you like that if they really know how low down your thinking is. Would they still love you? That's why I got a sponsor. That's why I let him know all my crazy, crazy thoughts. Old timers, man, check this out. And I don't know when you become an old timer, you know what I'm saying? I'm still excited about being clean and being in recovery. So I don't know about that old timer stuff. You know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like I still meet people. Look, I ain't got Alzheimer's, but I have a problem with names. I got people in my home group, they'll hug me and I have to stop and think about it. So if I look at you kind of crazy, I done forgot your name, and I need to let you know there's a fear. So the fear is me letting you know that I don't know your name. So I will let it paralyze me thinking like I should know. And I won't say nothing. I just look at you and say, hey, how you doing? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Simple stuff. And like not having the courage to like say, I love you, but I don't. What is your name? Like I'm going to hurt your feelings by calling you yeah. You know? So So I just keep coming back and I keep finding stuff out about myself. And I don't let fear paralyze. I take that back. Fear still paralyzed me because I done that today. Somebody hugged me and I looked at him and I didn't know their name and it paralyzed me. Let me see if somebody else is going to call his name. Yeah. Afraid, man, that I'm going to hurt you. Man, it's crazy how the disease like affects me in every area of my life. And the bottom line, 99% of the time is fear. And I don't even know where it comes from. It just comes. And when it's there, it's like it just eats me up. And like I let it stay. When I don't know your name, then I forget about your name, and then it just travels. So I'm real grateful, man. Like this, they gave me this, like fear set in. When Felicia gave me this topic, it automatically set in because fear is such a broad. It's like, man, you can go everywhere with this. Like I don't know no addict that don't know nothing about fear. Like you know, like we are real good at like going to the dope house. I don't know about y'all. I was real good about going to the dope house and knocking on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning and like not being scared or like having dope in my pocket and the police is right behind me or like walking down the street and I got it and I'd be like, yeah, come on, what you want to do, dog? Bring that. Yeah, I got dope on me. What? But like we get here in Narcotics Anonymous and they share with us their most intimate stuff and we are afraid to walk up and say, will you be my sponsor? Fear. And like fear, it's like when your sponsor gives you an assignment. Oh, y'all thought I wasn't going to give you that one too? I'm talking about me. And like in the process of the assignment that your sponsor gives you, it's like you're looking for the payoff in a hurry. And your fear sets in, so you say the hell with that after 24 hours and revert back to the same behavior instead of practicing what the assignment was to get to the solution of the problem. Like, my sponsor gives me assignments. At this day in my life, I just do the assignment. I don't ask how long, because I have found out through my personal experience, It ain't in the swiftness of doing the assignment. It's in the longevity, man, and the shit changes. It's in the consistency and the discipline of how long I want to do it. Like my relationship with my higher power is the direct result of how I treat you. Like if I'm having a great relationship with my higher power and me and him are not, I'm not afraid of what I think he might do because I've been acting out in my thinking. I'm just talking about my thinking. My behavior is a whole other story. Then we are good to go. But let me miss a day. Now, I found this out in the last couple of weeks. I work 7 days a week. So my phone starts ringing as soon as I get up in the morning. So what happens is, it's like I don't get an opportunity to talk to my higher power. I don't get an opportunity to read the morning meditation. I don't get an opportunity to read where it's coming from, either from the pamphlet or from the book or from the basic text. I don't get to do that. So like you do that, Danny, in a straight period of 7 days in a row, and then you try to help everybody else, and you don't talk your sponsor but once a week, guess where you're going to be at the 8th day? At 17 and a half years clean. I ain't thinking about using dope, but it says in here, using. So I start using anger. And the disease will say, you waited too long to call your sponsor. So what you going to try to pick up the last 7 days? So fear paralyzes me, and it's another whole week before I call my sponsor. And then a crisis comes, and I'm scared to call my sponsor. So I get into self-will, and I forget about God and the relationship, and then I'm in it, and then I'm crying for help, and the consequences are already there. So then I got to call sponsor back. Yeah! And what sponsor says, my sponsor cold-blooded, man. We do what's important. So what's important? And where I'll go, do you want to go back to the penitentiary? Or do you want to work this way of life today? Because this way of life, in spite of what you feel, is a good way of life. So all you got to do is get out of your self-centered ass and all that fear. Step up to the plate, call sponsor, get up off your lazy behind, and go to meetings, because you're not that tired at 17 and a half years. Because if it was the dope, because I tell this to the newcomers, if it was the dope, you would get up and run to the dope. So get your 17 and a half years up and go to a meeting and sit there and share or be quiet and read the literature, Danny. Stop being afraid. What worked for me in the beginning still works for me today. And I got to keep walking through it, man. In spite of the fear. Like, I didn't know when I got here. Good. I didn't know this was going. I didn't know when I got here, guys. Like when I got out of the penitentiary, you know what I'm saying? Moving at home with my mom, I didn't know that the house was coming. I didn't know that none of the stuff that I had been blessed with was coming. So if you knew, just because you got you at the halfway house or you staying at the shelter, that ain't the end result. That is not it's just the beginning. Because a dope fiend like me that was up under the bridge, comfortably in a box, that went to the penitentiary because he got sick and tired of being sick and tired and made a decision to turn himself in, got there, spent the 6 years there, came to a meeting, one-legged guy was there, said, come on in, are you an addict? I said yes, and like life started for me right there, and I didn't use no matter what, in spite of what I thought y'all was talking about me. I just kept on coming because I was afraid to go anywhere else. So I just kept coming. I just kept coming. I just kept coming. I didn't know I was going to get my driver's license back. I didn't know I was going to get an automobile. I just kept coming. The house wasn't on the market. I didn't know nothing about none of that stuff. All I had was child support and back taxes, and I didn't see how that was going to get paid off. I just kept coming. And my higher power that was taking care of me then in the penitentiary, because it wasn't because I was a bad son of a gun with a hook. It was because I had something greater than me taking care of me. Don't get it twisted like you were bad. So now I'm here, man. And the hope shot is like, you get it. Like you ain't doing this by yourself. Free yourself and stop staying in fear, Danny. Like everything you wanted in life is there. I am my sister's hero today. My son loves me. He's up in New York talking about when we get back here, Daddy, I love you. What the hell? You know, like the kids in the neighborhood love me. They got a kid, a 5-year-old. I don't even know why, man. In my home group, there's this little 5-year-old that lives up the street from me. I moved in. I don't know why. He likes me so. But he calls me his daddy. And he'll see me. And he'll run to me. And he'll hug me. And he'll let me bust his behind when he's bad. I don't know what I did. I saw to get up in the morning, back out, speak to him, go to work, come back home consistently in my life. Maybe he saw something. I don't know. But he loved, before I left, he got in trouble. I just got to talk about that. He got in trouble at school. So he got a whooping last week. So he's been, y'all know how we are, dope fiends. You get in trouble, you get your behind whooped, then you want a pat on the back. For doing the right thing. Because you're afraid if you don't, you're going to get another whooping. So he runs down, he's been running down all week, like last week and this week. Daddy, I didn't get in no trouble today. Okay. So are we going fishing? I don't get off work tonight till 11. I'm like, so like we can hang out. So like we hang out and I got a pit bull in the back that's like 85 pounds. So he loves feeding baby. So like that's all we do. And I give him a hug. And I don't even know why I'm telling y'all this. But it's a God in me that he see that I don't even see sometimes. Because I remember there was a kid in Houston, Texas, there was a kid in Houston, Texas, guys, and I lived in Houston for a while, and his mama thought I was a great guy, and she dropped him off, and I remember that, like he wasn't important enough. Like the dope was more important, so I would close the bathroom door, and I remember him knocking on the door wanting to get in, and I wouldn't let him in because I wanted to get high. Yeah. So, like, God gives you stuff back. He gives it to you. He might not like the way he gives it back, but he's going to give it back to you. Like all my dreams have been awakened. So like I'm just excited about being a member of Narcotics Anonymous. So like if you knew, man, it ain't the end. But like you're going to have to stay. And this ain't going to be easy to stay because fear's going to creep in and tell you to run. Don't get it twisted that we don't know you running, especially when you're at my home group and you trying to hit the door. I see you trying to run. I grab your ass. And I give you a hug. And I tell you, I'm glad you made it here. Because I'm not going to let you think you can run. Because I know you scared. We're a bunch of crazy, wild people. We loud. We talk trash. We act like family. We cuss each other out. We gossip about each other. And you sitting in the back like, I don't want to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying? But don't run. What do you think? What we going to act like when we get off of dope? We off dope. We ain't got nothing else to fixate on except sex, craziness, insanity, gossip, and fear. We run with that. So just keep coming back and see if you can be part of the solution. And the solution is that you stay clean, you get a sponsor, you work steps, you apply them in your life, stop putting them in everybody else's life, and see what you can do better. And then be of service. That don't mean you running nothing. You are carrying a message. What message are you carrying when you be in a service? I'm just saying. I'm not judging. So like I keep coming back. I am still excited more now than when I picked up that 2-year clean tag at the beginning. I'm more excited now than like my life is like good. Like the open-minded piece of like allowing other people in my life, like not being afraid of what you look like the homeless people, man, come in my home group. Everybody's scared of them. I love them because they remind me of me. I'm not afraid of them. I really know what you're suffering through. So whether you're crazy or not, I'm going to give you a hug. Ooh, you smell a little bit, but come on. I'm going to rub some of this on you, man. I'm going to love you anyway. Am I going to take you home? Nope. I love me a little bit more, but you keep coming back. So like I enjoy life. Y'all understand? Like getting out of the fear of just enjoying life. Like you're going to meet some people and they going to love you. And you're going to be afraid and you're going to get fantasies caught up in your head. Check this out. It ain't about sleeping with them. It's just a relationship. That's all it is. Enjoy it. Get to know somebody. Get to love on them, man. Loving ain't always about hugging. Loving is about listening. Can you just sit long enough and listen to somebody and share your experience, Danny? Only when you ask, because the literature tells me that. Because I know that you suffer, because I suffer. I love Narcotics Anonymous. I love Narcotics Anonymous. I will beat you up about Narcotics Anonymous. I will. I had to practice love when some people in our home would come in there and say they're clean and sober. I had to pray. I want to be self-righteous and say, this is a clean recovery place. You're not. But I've learned God's will and my will are two different wills. So like if I let them keep coming back and they get an NA sponsor, they might show them that part in the literature where it talks about that. Alcohol is a drug, boo. So like I'm real grateful, y'all. If y'all don't know I'm grateful, y'all hug me and I'll let you know how grateful I am. I love Narcotics Anonymous and I hope I've helped somebody. I don't know, but I feel better right now. Thank you for allowing me to share.